Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for returning subscribers and members. What we do here, if you are new, is we react to the most disturbing and creepy videos from the internet, and we go through the latest. If you like what you see, don't forget to sub up, turn on the notifications, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. With that being said, let's roll.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the internet came about, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. We have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnik and also a Judith Resnik Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age. Now, to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names.
Yeah, I've watched a lot on that, and they look very similar to the original crew that went up in space. But let's face it, if it was fake and we're just seeing a rocket going up and coming back down, and, you know, it's filmed in a Hollywood basement, as the Red Hot Chili Peppers would tell you, then if it did explode, then they would have a problem in their hands. And they would have to, you know, there's people living who should be not here. So, but I mean, they've not even attempted to change names or anything. They look very similar. Let me know if you've watched this and your thoughts on that. What in the paranormal activity is going on there, people?
This is one of the craziest and spooky videos that you're going to see all week. I'm not going to lie, I watched this one several times because, to be honest, it freaked me out. In just a moment, I'm going to show this clip, and it starts out like one that you have seen probably 1,000 times. The ones where these ladies, these girls set up their phone on the ground and they do some kind of dance video. It's everywhere. This young lady, she sets her phone up. She's on like a dock that's out on a lake. And she sets her phone up on the dock, and unfortunately it falls over and goes into the water. But what happens next is bone chilling. What it captures in the water is the thing nightmares are made of. Watch closely, pay attention, and I've slowed it down. I've looped it a couple times. It's a quick video, but you can clearly see what looks like, I think, an old man's face. Some kind of face appears out of the darkness in the water. It's pretty clear. Watch it. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any evidence you'd like to share, my email is listed in my bio. Have a great day. God bless. Check this out.
Whoa, okay. I almost took that video out because I couldn't see it. But if you have a look in the top left, there is a face in the water looking at you. What in the paranormal activity is going on today? Whoa, okay, that looks like plasma. Like, I don't know, like flickery plasma, you know what I mean? I don't know what that is. Let me know what you what's going on with all the creepy crawlies at the moment? Are they going from somewhere? Are they leaving somewhere? Because I'm seeing a lot of videos of either birds or creepy crawlies, and there's just millions of them, all fleeing in one direction. I'm just glad I'm not there. What in the planet Nibiru is going on there, then, people? It just don't look like the sun that I see. The closest thing is a sunset. The sunset, when it goes down, why does it go orange, not white? I still can't work that one. So yeah, I can't work that one out. So once I've worked that one out, then maybe I can work out what this big orange planet is in our skies, because I've seen videos where the sun's setting and that is in a different direction. But it was like a mirror.
If you haven't heard the latest going around as of today, apparently it's yet to be peer reviewed. So this is for entertainment purposes only. TikTok. That's it. It has not been peer reviewed yet. But they just released a study saying that essentially what they think is that a planet roughly about 50 times the size of Jupiter, or a mass about 50 times the size of Jupiter, entered our solar system and basically mixed up all of the orbits and is screwing around with the planets. Sorry. This is just getting ridiculous at this point. I don't know what to say. Maybe it's Nibiru. Is it Nibiru? Are they trying to, trick us into thinking that this is some new revelation, that they didn't go over Planet 9 or Planet X, what was it, a decade ago? They said they figured they found it and it had this elongated orbit that was going to come back around. It was massive. And now they're saying, oh, there's some sort of massive planet that just entered our solar system and is pulling around the planets, just mixing stuff up. Things are getting very weird very quick. They are. I have nothing else to say. It's just funny at this point. I don't know. I love you. Bye.
Whoa, okay. Maybe you can get floating planets. Maybe they can steer their own planets. You know what I mean? Like, you know how there was floating cities, or you could probably have floating cities if you really wanted, or you could at least have a floating building. You know what I mean? If you put it on a big balloon, you'd steer it. Maybe we've got to a point in some other civilization where they can actually go and drive their whole planet. If they've had enough of their neighbors, of Mars or whatever else, if they've got living planets and they're like, nah, I've had enough, they can literally just take the whole planet and go somewhere else. So maybe that's what's coming. Or I don't know, maybe it is Nibiru, because we're seeing a lot of stuff in the skies. Planets are coming into our solar system. Unidentified objects are coming into our solar system. We've all seen Free Body Problem, and I think that might be a real life problem. I don't know. We just don't get it, do we? Like, we just don't get what's going on in this world. There's so much more going on, for sure.
But by October 2022, newly released drone footage revealed that the 170-kilometer linear city had actually begun construction. Massive excavation works were already underway, carving out a wide trench through the desert where the foundations of the line would eventually be built. What's even more surprising is that satellite images seemed to suggest that they were actually digging the full 170 kilometers from the very beginning.
Yeah, you know what that is, don't you? That is the line from Saudi Arabia, where they're going to house like 9 million people in one massive long line building. It is bonkers. It's apparently using tech that we didn't even know existed at the time that they were talking about. But yeah, it's here, people.
One of the most ambitious projects the world has ever seen. Development of the line is progressing rapidly.
The first phase of the line will be complete by 2030. We are committed.
A transformative new city being built in Neom, Saudi Arabia.
We've done a lot of the foundation work, literally and figuratively.
This foundation will underpin a city that will set new benchmarks for quality of life to create a more positive future.
Well, that is a whole new type of rainbow right there.
I'ma just say it right now. Count me out. When you think these motherfuckers couldn't have one up, they always do. So these motherfuckers then built the world's longest undersea highway tunnel. And not only that, but it's motherfucking see-through. I don't know what motherfucker came up with this concept, but it does not look safe. You see motherfucking hammerheads and sharks and all different type of shit swimming right over your head. It only took China 4 years to build this motherfucker. This motherfucking tunnel stretches 6 miles long and is 33 feet wide. But not to mention that, it features 6 lanes going both directions. What the fuck? But this motherfucking tunnel has stunned engineers worldwide, saying that this motherfucker was impossible to build. Not to mention this motherfucker could stand a 8 magnitude earthquake. But they also say this motherfucker could withstand a 16 magnitude typhoon. All I'm gonna say is you ain't gonna catch me on this motherfucker. Again, count me out.
Yeah, you're just scratching the surface of the actual deep underground tunnels we really have available that have probably always been here. And there's a lot of infrastructure underneath our feet, I really, truly believe. But whoa, that is I'd love to go on there. That would be crazy. But it just shows you what we can do under the waters if we're able to build it under the waters. Apparently, we've not seen 95% of the ocean floor. I don't believe that. We have the technology to be able to get down there and have a look if we wanted to. But they always make you look up there and not down there. You know what I mean? Makes you wonder. What in the Yeshua is going on there, people? What in the 4D transport system is going on there?
If you haven't seen this footage, you need to watch it because the sheriff has just come out and said that none of these officers violated criminal law. You see, this is 22-year-old William Anthony McNeil, and he was pulled over by police for not having his headlights on in bad weather. In the video, William can be heard telling the officers that there are many other cars without their headlights on, and regardless, it wasn't raining. But when he refused to step out the car and asked to see their supervisor, the officer to his left proceeds to not only break the window, but also punch him in the face. He remains calm and he puts his hands up, but despite this, he gets punched in the face for the second time and then wrestled to the ground. He was later charged with resisting arrest without violence, possessing not more than 20 grams of marijuana, driving with a suspended license, and not having his headlights on in bad weather. He was even sentenced to 2 days in jail. Now here's the thing. This didn't happen yesterday. This happened 5 months ago. And the Jacksonville sheriff said, quote, "The state attorney's office has determined that none of these officers violated criminal law." But now, thanks to the fact that William's POV has gone viral on social media, the officers are now being placed under a second internal review to determine if their actions violated Jacksonville police policy, not necessarily criminal law. William has now also hired a lawyer himself to take legal action, and his lawyers claim that the police report omits key details like the use of force, saying the narrative in their police report isn't just suspicious, it's completely divorced from reality. The question is, what do you guys think?
Whoa, I think that's absolutely crazy. And to punch someone while they're sat in the car and then punch him again for the second time, and it's a police officer, when they're not under attack or anything like that, is absolutely outrageous, and they should lose their job straight away. Regardless of anything else that has gone on, they're there to protect and serve.
Yes, this Bible that belonged to my grandmother's family does speak about dragons. And I was actually reading this story earlier from the part of the Bible called the Apocrypha. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but this story is called The History of the Destruction of Bel and the Dragon, cut off from the end of Daniel. So down here, it says, "And in the same place there was a great dragon, which they of Babylon worshipped. And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou canst not say that he is not living God, therefore worship him. Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship the Lord my God, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, Lo, these are the gods ye worship. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation, and conspired against the king, saying, The king is become a Jew, and he hath destroyed Bel. He hath slain the dragon, and put the priests to death. So they came to the king and said, Deliver us Daniel, or we will destroy thee in thine house. Now, when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. So there's a really cool story about none other than a dragon. I hope you liked that.
There's so much going on there. I don't even know what to talk about. I mean, first of all, there's dragons. So there's dragons. I don't know where this book's from. Like, this is a very, very old book. Is it legit? I don't know. But if it is legit, then they're talking about lots of different gods as well. Something about Jews. And definitely there's dragons in this book.
Everyone needs to know what these Amish people are doing right now. Remember those devastating storms that hit North Carolina last year? Well, they've never really made a big deal about it, but every single week since then, an army of Amish have been traveling hundreds of miles from Pennsylvania to help rebuild the town of Chimney Rock. And because the Amish grow up and are taught to build everything themselves, like their houses and barns, having an Amish volunteer hits different. Not only are they doing all of this with a smile, but the mayor of Chimney Rock reportedly said that if the Amish had not shown up, the entire town would have been a ghost town. Every single business in the town has been damaged in some way. So for months, they've been clearing up debris, insulating new buildings, organizing donated products, and repairing the buildings that can still be saved. Now, thanks to their help, the town is planning on being up and running again very soon. And they did all of this without a single request for publicity.
Wow. The Amish. They sound like my kind of people. I wonder if you need like an application form or how you get into the Amish. Or have you got to be born into it? Because I think they've got it right.
They built underground cities while telling us to stock up on canned soups. Mount Weather, Cheyenne Mountain, Raven Rock. That's just what they admit exists. Secret tunnels, high-speed rail, a breakaway society ready for when it all goes to hell. You think FEMA's for you? It's to protect them while we burn. Catherine Austin Fitts blew the whistle, said there's a shadow world under our feet. Trillions missing from the Pentagon. Guess where that money went? It's not your student loans. USA Today slipped up. Mount Weather is still being upgraded. For what? They won't say. It's classified. You're not on that list. No ticket, no bunker, just Netflix and distractions. They're not building it to save you. They're building it to survive without you, without us. All this money to protect themselves. But at what expense? At your expense, at your hard-earned money, at all the work you did, the taxes they took out of your check to save themselves, but not you.
This is one of my favorite topics, is the deep underground cities that I think are there. I think there's stuff underneath our feet, for sure. Whether it's underneath the water or underneath the ground, I'm not 100% sure, but all the stuff that's going on, I think it is to do with stuff that's going on underneath our feet. I don't know if there's a war going on down there, but, you know, some 4D stuff, alien stuff, I don't know what it is, but hell's supposed to be down there, remember? I think it's hell on earth, but I don't know what's going on down there other than nefarious stuff. And this could be the way that the resets always happen. They go down there while they turn on their weather systems, cause a massive flood, wipe us all out, and then they come back up to the surface. So that could be the resets and the mud floods, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Should we be worrying about what's going on off the coast of Russia? In early July, a 7.4 earthquake struck near the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, one of the most dangerous subduction zones on Earth. But it didn't stop there. A swarm of dozens of smaller quakes have continued, and not all of them that small. Although Kamchatka has 29 volcanoes, this swarm is tectonic. It's the Pacific Plate pushing under the North American Plate. The North American Plate actually extends under northeastern Russia. This is the same fault that sent tsunami waves to Hawaii in 2006. And in 1952, a magnitude 9.0 sent tsunami waves all the way to Crescent City, California. In Hawaii, there were reports of houses floating away and cows colliding. But here's the worrying bit. Swarms like this have preceded megaquakes before. We saw it in Japan 2011, Turkey 2023. Scientists call it seismic foreshadowing. Not always, but when it happens, it's dramatic. Russia's Far East is relatively under-monitored. Seismic data is buried in military networks. Remember, in 2019, they tested a nuke-powered missile off Nyanowska. It exploded and spiked radiation in nearby towns with no public warning. So if you're watching Japan, Alaska, or the US West Coast, keep an eye on Kamchatka, because unlike Vegas, what happens there doesn't always stay there. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
I mean, do we need to start worrying about this or what?
They're watching you through your Wi-Fi now. Xfinity just rolled out something called Wi-Fi Motion, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It tracks movement inside your home using nothing but your Wi-Fi signals. No cameras, no sensors, just your router blasting invisible waves and reading how they bounce off your body. That's not Wi-Fi anymore. That's a radar. You walk across the room, it knows. You open a door, it knows. You sit still too long, it knows. It's a motion detection through your internet. And the craziest part? It's already built into the router, just waiting to be activated. Most people won't even realize they've installed live surveillance in their own home. Xfinity calls it a feature, but this isn't smart tech. It's a silent wireless tracking system. And once your router can map your movements, you're not just connected, you're monitored constantly. This is how the surveillance state gets in. Not with cameras, but with conveniences. Not with force, but with features. And by the time people figure it out, the cage is already built.
There is only one solution, people, and that is you're just going to have to go off grid because this is getting ridiculous. They are tracking everything and anyone, and it's going to get it. Your next 5 years is just going to go crazy to the point where they literally want to put something in your body so they can track you, probably from birth. That's where we're going. You are giving birth, baby's out, and then there's a tracker for your safety. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the safety aspect of everything, you know, like to be able to track but it's the people in control, man. We need to be humanitarian people. But on that note, end of the show. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you again tomorrow.